About 1,400 people in Silicon Valley were cut off from power for an hour Tuesday night during triple-digit record temperature. Grid officials say it was a mistake caused by miscommunication.
California Independent System Operator issued a Level 3 energy emergency alert a little after 5 p.m. Tuesday to warn utility providers to prepare for rolling blackouts. But a handful of operators went ahead with the outages and let local providers believe that they had been ordered. President and CEO of ISO, Elliot Mainzer, confirmed on Wednesday,
"We endured the hottest triple-digit temperatures yet in a historic week-long heat wave. Demand for electricity on our grid peaked at 52,061 megawatts, a level we have not seen before in California. Of note, it was also the highest recorded load for the broader Western interconnection. Just one day earlier, consumers responded to our Flex Alert calls to reduce electricity demand and came through with about 1,000 megawatts of scheduled savings, which made a big difference."
Alameda Municipal Power said in a statement that they merely followed instructions when the Northern California Power Agency, NCPA, told them to begin load-shedding operations. Palo Alto Utilities and Alameda Municipal Power initiated rolling outages but quickly called them off. The calls for power conservation came as a heat dome baked most of the state this week and is expected to dissipate over the weekend. Bill Thomas, NTD News, California.
Many parts of California reached triple digits during this week's heat wave, while some people had to face energy conservation calls to lower their thermostats. Others had to work all day in the scorching heat. I visited a construction site in Silicon Valley to hear how workers dealt with it. California is at the tail end of a week of extreme heat, but that hasn't stopped state construction workers. Jose Medina, a construction foreman, works for internet service providers. He's currently repairing the asphalt pavement in Santa Clara, California. He says he and his team work 8 to 9 hours in the baking sun.
I feel hot. It's kind of hard to work on this day because your body's not the same. When you're working in the morning, you can feel the power, but sometime in the afternoon, you feel weak. Our boss brings some waters, you know what I mean? With cold ice and everything.
When you get a wind or a breeze come by, how does that feel?
So our air conditioner is the wind. Yeah, we don't have any condition outside.
The workers wore light-colored long sleeves to not only block UV rays, but also increase their visibility for drivers. It's a sweltering temperature out here, and a lot of the workers are just always in the sun, and they often just break a sweat. Now, what keeps them going is their family and the lifestyle of the work.
Just my family. Yeah, I support my family. That's what keep me going to work.
It's a livelihood. You just gotta, this is my life. This is my business. So, just gotta keep doing what you do.
Matthew Crick helps run an inventory business. He calls himself the muscles of the team.
I've been moving stuff all day since around 7 a.m. And, you just gotta do what you gotta do. When it's hot, you sweat, you wipe yourself down with a little rag, but you just keep muscling through it.
In buildings without AC, fans are the only option.
None of these buildings here have AC. It's just a matter of you keep the door open and a fan on. There's a skylight, but that lets in maybe an additional 10 degrees of heat just pouring in on you. When it's 100 degrees, it's 100 degrees in there. We just live with it.
Some areas in California are expected to cool down by this weekend. Crick is looking forward to cooler temperatures. David Lamb, NTD News, California. The California Senate has moved the state one step closer to mandating kindergarten for all students.
It's now up to Governor Gavin Newsom whether to sign a bill into law making kindergarten mandatory. SB 70 was passed with a 33-5 vote and would require a child complete 1 year at kindergarten before being admitted to first grade in public schools. If signed into law, the bill would come into effect in the 2024 to 2025 school year. The bill argues that kids who attend kindergarten are, quote, more likely to go to college and earn higher wages. It adds they are less likely to experience poverty during adulthood. Democratic Senator Susan Rubio, who authored the bill, said in a press release that she has witnessed the detrimental impact on young students who miss out on fundamental early education. However, opponents, including the California Homeschool Network, oppose the bill and call it unnecessary. They say the bill would make kids attend 13 years of formal education rather than 12. If this law is enacted, California will be the 20th state in the United States to mandate kindergarten. Bill Thomas, NTD News, California.
People all over the world reflected on the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. In California, Angelenos recalled memories of her.
British expats and Americans living in Los Angeles reflected on Queen Elizabeth II in the wake of her death on Thursday.
She was on the throne when she was 17. Unbelievable. And I was 15, of course, 2 years behind. And I just cannot believe it's all those years. And she has been absolutely unbelievable, but unbelievable. Not just a queen serving the nation, she was loved by the complete Commonwealth. And it's a tragedy.
The 94-year-old, originally from the English city of Leeds, has lived in Los Angeles for more than 40 years. Skibbon says the Queen was well loved and respected.
It's amazing. We had Americans in as well, not just the British. And they felt personally, it was, it was a tragic situation to be going through. Not their queen, but for some reason they felt a closeness to her.
In the San Fernando Valley, at a British-style pub named Robin Hood, customers and the owner alike watched a live broadcast from London.
It all happened so quickly, and when we saw the family coming in, we thought, oh dear, that's not good. And then all of a sudden, we were told she passed. Very sad. She was very loved. Toast to the Queen. She will always be remembered.
Customers also came to honor the Queen and raise a cup in her memory.
Once we heard that the Queen is dead, long live the King, we decided that we had to go to a little British pub and raise a cuppa to the Queen because we adored her. I think this is a very sad day. I mean, everyone dies, everyone gets old, and I'm glad that she didn't linger in some horrible state, that she was able to go peacefully, and that's wonderful. Doesn't mean I won't miss her.
Not everyone was as sympathetic. One expat said she wasn't happy with all the attention the royal family receives.
To the Queen, the only constant thing is change. And it really is now time to change. And maybe as an angel, the Queen could do more with her wings than she did in real life because she wasn't allowed to, maybe.
Another guest said he appreciated that despite the negative media attention some members of the family generate, the Queen was the one who held everyone together.
Some people in the royal family do seem to be outsiders and troublemakers, if you will, and I think she was kind of the glue that held everyone together, more or less. But yeah, I mean, we hear about, the people who the royal family doesn't like a lot more than the ones that the family does like. So unfortunately, that's what we see in our newsstands, is everyone who's on the outs. And, obviously there's got to be somebody who holds it all together, and that was what she did.
After the Queen passed away, Prince Charles immediately ascended to king. His coronation will be held at a later date.
The popular Glass Beach in Northern California continues to attract visitors from near and far. One former sailor who opened up the Sea Glass Museum tells NTD's Eileen Ng how the beach came to be.
Millions of smooth, prismatic pebbles of glass blanket shores near Fort Bragg, giving the famous site its nickname, Glass Beach. Though the glass pebbles are not quite an all-natural formation, they've been drawing tourists for decades. Joseph Cass Forrington, a former sea captain and owner of the Sea Glass Museum, says it was just considered a local beach when he visited with a friend.
We were sitting there one day, and I was looking around at the glass, and I said, this is pretty. I said, somebody should do something with this. And I had 2 girls in college at the time that were keeping me tapped out. I'm on a pension, so I wanted a little money to go play golf. And I haven't played golf since I started doing it, but that's what the original intent was.
He started to collect the glass and display his collection in a small display at a friend's house.
He was there one day, and a woman came in, and just the one display case, she said, boy, this is like a museum. And he told me that, and I said, well, actually, I'd like to start a museum. So he cleaned out his office space, another room, and I started with these few display cases you see here and there. And it was such a hit that the next year we cleaned out another large room, And I got these display cases and put them in there. And then the next year another room, and then next year another room, and then the next year another room, until you see this whole collection here.
Since 2005, he has owned the Sea Glass Museum and sold sea glass jewelry. The glass, which is now treasured by Forrington and tourists alike, instead started out as trash discarded at sea. Then nature took over, beautifying man's waste.
Our ancestors didn't have landfills and places to take their trash, so if you lived on the water, on the river, on a lake, on an ocean, on a bay, that's where you threw your trash. Now, there was nothing wrong with it. It was all biodegradable, which meant it was bio-nourishing. What makes Fort Bragg different is that the rock formations here set up wave patterns that keep everything on the beach. Nothing ever washes away here. All right, so they didn't realize that at the time, of course, when they started dumping.
The most common colors are white, green, and amber glass. The rarest are red, orange, and purple.
These 1 in 10,000 pieces. You see how few I have.
Yeah.
And some of those were donated, a couple of them.
Wow.
I only found 4 in 10 years.
Why is it so rare? Is it because...
They just didn't make much of that glass.
Oh, the purple glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reds are rare because they're mostly used in the taillights of old cars. And the orange were the turn signals of old cars. But the red, the bright red, has gold in it to give it its luster.
He sorts and identifies them with the help of what he calls the Bible of sea glass, called Pure Sea Glass by Richard Lamotte. The museum also has a blacklight room that would make the glass glow.
Yeah, but there were two makers that back in the 30s put uranium in the glass to brighten the colors, and that was mostly in the green jadeite glass. That's a very popular thing. Any glass that glows under a black light we call Vaseline glass. Not because it's part of a Vaseline jar or anything, but just Vaseline glass because it has uranium in it. And it wasn't just the green. They put it in other colors too to brighten them, some aquas, some reds, bright lemon, oranges, and bright limes and bright yellows.
It became an official dumping ground in 1906 after the earthquake.
So we have 3 dump sites, 1906 to 1943, 1943 to 1949, and 1949 to 1967. And the last of those, Site 3, that's Glass Beach, what people call Glass Beach. The other beaches I just call Site 1 and Site 2.
According to Forrington, Glass Beach used to have 7 feet thick of glass. Now it's mostly depleted. Because of the bio-nourishing aspects of glass, Forrington believes it's important to locally recycle the glass to replenish the beaches.
The sea glass has created the richest marine environment in at least Northern California. And that's because glass is made, colored, and clarified with minerals. And as the glass dissolves in the salt water, which gives us this nice patina, it releases those minerals, and that's the basis of the food chain. So our glass beaches are teeming with life. In between the glass, you can't even see microfauna, microflora, and then little shrimps and worms and insects that are in there eating those, and it just goes up.
Forrington advocates for the formation of glass reefs to initiate a food chain in depleted areas worldwide. Eileen Ang, NTD News, Fort Bragg, California.